Boys, all I can say is wow, wow, wow. I guess we have a race now. Hello everybody, I'm Blex, and this is a video series where we examine the loot pools of different bosses and see what bosses are the most efficient to farm in Borderlands 3. If you want to see more, please listen to my boy, Stephen A. And like and subscribe. To my very own surprise, the Graveward is actually a pretty good boss to farm. Pretty good. I did some optimization, and you can check that out in my boss guide video, linked here. But I found that using the King's Call as a Mara and skipping the loot room in the back can lead to some impressive results. For those keeping track at home, this is our 5th boss that we've farmed 30 times thus far, and with the others being the Trant brothers, God Queen Tyreen, and the oh-so-glitch Katagawa.
To an overseas investment and it's gone!
During the 30 runs, I track all the legendary drops, count all of the other drops that we see, and the iridium per run. I've stopped counting cash though at this point.
I ain't even counting money no more. If it ain't right, it ain't right. It don't even matter no more.
I do this though all for you guys, so you guys can compare the best locations for farming in Borderlands 3. And with that being said, let's dive into the numbers. Okay, so let's actually break down the numbers and see where this boss stacked up against other bosses. I have some notes here we can go over, but I want to just break some things out for you. In terms of iridium, we got 558 iridium, or about 18 per run. This is second only to Tyreen in sheer volume of iridium obtained during these runs. We got 43 legendaries, pretty good, second to Tyreen again in terms of total legendaries. What really matters though is total minutes. We spent 32 minutes versus 32 minutes for 30 runs, which is second best only to Katagawa, which was 24 minutes per run. So you can see we're second best in terms of sheer volume of legendaries in 30 runs, and second best in terms of time. This is shaping up so far to be a pretty good run when we break it down on a per hour basis. One other note, 362 total drops versus 369, I believe, for Tyreen. So in terms of non-legendary drops, this is easily the best boss in terms of time. If you're looking for epics or blues with special anointed on them, this is the boss to come to, because you're going to get more volume of loot. So on a per minute basis, as I said, almost about a minute per run, a little over that. We had a 76% binary legendary drop rate, so if a legendary dropped binary yes or no, 76% of the time it did, second to Tyreen again in terms of that metric. On a per hour basis, this is where things get interesting. 80 legendaries per hour, second to Katagawa at 85. Now, if you're looking for anything or any type of legendary, I think this is going to be the boss for you, because Katagawa's loot pool is polluted by the Firestorm and Storm drops that always drop with him. Not always, but have a higher percentage chance to drop with him, whereas Graveward seems to have a lack of consistency, and we'll show that in the next segment. Iridium per hour, very high, 1046, by far and away the best. Katagawa was only at 645. This could be skewed by the Iridium event going on. Most likely will be skewed by the Iridium event going on, but the numbers are the numbers. We're not tracking cash anymore, but Katagawa is easily the best boss for cash. Just based on my testing, that's how I became cash capped. That's all for this segment. I'm going to break down the loot that we're seeing in Python for this section. So we'll start off with the drop rates, and then we'll go into the Iridium, and then the specific loot that actually dropped for us. Start off with the cumulative sum of legendaries. It's just a plot to show you how the drops went. Fairly linear, not as much jaggedness as we saw with Captain Trant or General Trant, and a pretty linear line overall. Had some slowdown towards the end, but overall pretty good. Iridium, very linear as well, one of the most linear lines we've seen thus far. Actual drop rates that we got so far. So we got about 19 guns in total, about half of all drops were guns. We got a ton of skins from this Graveward. Very interesting to keep note of. 1 artifact, 2 class mods, 5 shields, and 3 grenades. Seems to be a very good spot for guns, and not a good spot for artifacts and class mods compared to other bosses. Next, what actually dropped? We didn't see a ton of consistency here. We got 2 Ogres, 2 Lyudas, and 2 Ravenous, as well as 2 Malix Banes. Malix Banes suck, so no reason to farming that. Lyudas are great, obviously. Ogres are solid. But there's not a whole lot of consistency here. We got a burner shield, we got a recursion shotgun, a AAA, a Nemesis pistol, a rerouter, a face puncher, a red queen, a duck, a ripper, a dictator, a siren's mark, a woodblocker, phase zerker, flacker, rough rider, firestorm, hellwalker. As you can see, it's all over the board for us and not a whole lot of consistency as far as drops go. I did, in an undocumented run, get a grave artifact from here. So grave is a special type of artifact. I'll flash that on the screen that drops, I believe, anywhere, but it seems like it's got a naming convention that's very similar to the Graveward. That's all for today's video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want more content. I'll have more guides coming out later this week.